It wasn't long ago that our only option was to hang our food in a sack from a tree. Now, there are new and maybe not so new and maybe better ways these days of keeping our critters away from our camp. Let's look at what those are. Let's look at where we eat. And also, let's look at how much care should go into not attracting animals with our food while we're out there in the wild. Okay, so maybe the first thing we should do is be familiar with the animals in our hiking area. A little intel goes a long way. You should research the wildlife in your chosen backpacking area. Each location has an organization or an agency that will help you with all of this. For instance, Parks and Wildlife, the National Forest Service, maybe a conservation society, or the Game and Fish Department. Maybe Fish and Wildlife, maybe the Department of Natural Resources, maybe some game commission. There are lots of organizations out there. Just figure out which one is responsible for the area that you want to go into and go check them out. You can also look at social media, maybe local newspapers, maybe trail organizations in your area. They're all great resources and worth looking into. Now, understanding the type and activity of local food thieves will help you choose the most effective strategy for protecting your food and consequently protecting the animals. Okay, what about your food storage options? Well, there are several popular options for storing food while you're backpacking. Let's start with options that are not certified bear-proof. Let's consider the hanging option, and this is where you hang your food from a sack up in a tree. If you do choose this, choose a sack that is reasonably durable. I've included some links down below to food bags that are popular and designed for hanging food. Now, they're made from various materials in different sizes. They weigh around a few ounces and cost between $30 and $50. I won't promote anyone in particular here, but just know that there's quite a few out there. To hang your food, you want to find a tall tree with a sturdy branch, and you want to hang your bag to be at least 10 feet off the ground and about 10 feet from the trunk of the tree, and also a good distance from any animal trails. So the branch will need to be probably at least 15 feet high above the ground to allow you a little space between the branch and the bottom of the bag. That sounds simple, right? Well, not always. The art of a good food hang takes practice, and there may not be compatible trees where you're hiking. For instance, here in the western United States, where we have mostly pine trees, it's hard to find branches that provide a good hang. Pine branches are short, typically, not usually sturdy at a distance more than 10 feet from the trunk of the tree, and pine branches are typically kind of crowded, making it difficult to toss your rope through them. Now, I've hung my food in a tree maybe just a few times over the last, I don't know how many years. I use different methods, and I'll get to those a little bit later, but I can attest to the same experience I've heard from others. Get to camp early if you want a good food hang. It's not uncommon to take, a half hour, maybe more, to find the right tree and to get a good hang and to hang it properly. Now, some established campsites will have a metal pole for hanging your food. If you're lucky enough to have one of those available to you, it's very convenient. Now, if you do find a suitable tree, there are several methods for hanging your food. I won't go into those here, but I'll provide some links down below that have very detailed instructions on how to do each of these different types of hangs. Practice and be familiar with at least 2 of them. Okay, let's talk about bear canisters. Now, especially in bear country, the surest method of protecting your food is to invest in a bear canister. Check to see that it is certified by the Interagency Grizzly Bear Committee, the IGBC. I have a link down below that takes you through a list of canisters that are certified by that organization. These canisters are very durable, and are tested on actual grizzly bears and other bears, and they've been proven to withstand a very determined animal. These canisters offer peace of mind, allowing you to relax knowing your food stash is safe from hungry bears and other critters. They are a great choice if you're in an area with limited trees, or maybe not the right kind of trees, maybe above tree line, or where they are required by local governing authorities. The downside is that bear canisters are bulky. They don't fit nicely into your backpacks. They are difficult to pack, leaving either space around them inside your pack or empty space inside the canister as you start emptying your canister. Although you could stuff things inside the canister after eating some of the contents. And these bear canisters will add a couple pounds to your carry. My BV 500, which holds about 3 days food, it weighs about 2 pounds. Now there's different ways to overcome these negatives or objections to bear canisters. These canisters are just not very convenient, but they really are the best way of giving you peace of mind about your food and restful, safe sleep at night. It's also the best way to help train bears to stay away from backpackers. They won't be able to get a meal out of you using one of these canisters, so they'll move on to something that's probably a little bit more convenient or easy. Another option is a UR sack. UR sacks offer an interesting middle ground. They are puncture-resistant sacks designed for and tested to deter bears and other critters. The UR Sack Major is certified by the IGBC. It's made out of ultra-high molecular weight polyethylene. That's UHMWP fabric. Other sacks from the same company are not certified, so be sure to select the Major, Major XL, or Major 2XL if you need a certified food container. The Major comes in several sizes, ranging in capacity from 5 to 14 days worth of food, so select the one that best suits your needs. Now these sacks don't require hanging. Simply tie them above a branch around the heart of the tree, 5 or so feet high, using knots recommended by the manufacturer. Tying them to the base of the tree is not recommended. Now they are lighter than bear canisters. This Major UR sack that I have is 9 ounces. Compared to the BV 500, weighs 2 pounds. Now they are more pack friendly than containers. They are easy to pack around and they don't produce any wasted space inside your pack. They are a deterrent for a bear, designed to frustrate the bear. If a bear tries to get to your food inside your UR sack, your food will likely be crushed by their mouth, by their jaws, inside your sack, and may not be completely recoverable. Your sack will have a bunch of bear slobber on it, but the bear doesn't get a meal and walks away hungry. Another sack that's similar to the UR sack is the Autotech Ultralight Food Locker. Now this food locker is grizzly bear resistant and is certified just like the UR sack and just like the containers are. And Autotech has several bear bags, but only one of them is certified by the IGBC. You tie it to a tree just like a UR sack, except it's made out of different, lighter Dyneema fabric material. It has a 14-liter capacity, which is about 6 to 7 days worth of food, and comes in at around 6 ounces. It's a bit more expensive compared to a similar capacity UR Sack Major XL at $125. The Autotech model is $155. It's also a little bit more water resistant. Alright, let's talk about odor resistant bags. Now, critters have noses that can smell our food, sometimes miles away. Now, you can minimize the temptation by using these airtight containers that are odor resistant for food and toiletries. A little scent control can go a long way in deterring unwanted visitors. These odor resistant bags may still let some odors out, but far less than without them. Put your food in them and store them inside your food sack. Now here's a few other additional steps to consider. Eat away from your shelter and keep a clean camp. Leaving any food scraps around your campsite is an open invitation for a wildlife buffet. And I always practice leave no trace principles. Clean up any crumbs thoroughly and dispose of food waste properly. No burning your trash or your food in your campfire is not an effective way of making a clean camp, nor will it completely remove food odors. Remember, a clean camp is happy and critter-free. When backpacking, I will often stop and cook my dinner maybe like a mile or two before my actual camp for the night. This will ensure I have far less food crumbs and smells around camp. Now, this is not convenient because I have to unpack and then pack at the dinner site, and then unpack again at my campsite. But in places where there are reports of active wildlife, it may be worth a little bit of an inconvenience to do this kind of thing. Okay, a couple things in closing. By understanding what wildlife may be in the area you're hiking, employing the right food storage strategies, and practicing good camp hygiene, you can best ensure your backpacking meals fuel your adventures, not the local wildlife. So, as always, you know what to do. Go live like you want it. All right, I'll see you on the trail. Hey, this is David on Earth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And go to the website for some deals on gear. All right, see you on the trail.